Cousin Carmine.
How you doing today, Frank?
I'm a little tired today.
Rough weekend.
Yeah, I can't complain. Running around with the kids, it's Christmas, the season, You know how it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I got a couple of shots of espresso, wet foot on ice, ran out of the house.
You need a little pick-me-up. The old Italian energy drink.
It's a little Christmassy around here. We got some, I don't know what the hell, what's on this table over here?
'Tis the season. You got some Garfield action, another troll for your trolls.
Oh, the troll. Oh,
You got to have a troll for your trolls.
This is going to be, they put a little bell on it. We got to check with the camera guys over here. Is the troll in the way or is it good? Let me get the high sign. Is the troll in the good spot? Okay. We got the okay.
All right.
Want to make sure the troll gets his face in there. Well, what do you got planned for the holidays? Well, listen, we're not going to call it the holidays. Christmas.
We're not politically correct.
We don't say happy holidays, right?
Well,
sometimes I'll. Yeah, but Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So what do you got planned for the holidays?
Not sure yet.
For Christmas.
These habits are hard to break. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's, got a little time. We're going to have we'll do the 7 fishes for Christmas Eve.
Now, a little birdie told me that 7 fishes is not really an Italian thing. It's an Italian-American thing. Guy brought it over. I don't know where he thought of it from.
Somebody in the fish business, probably.
Did I tell you that I got a challenge to grapple somebody in jiu-jitsu?
No.
So some guy reaches out to me on Instagram because I did an open invite. And by the way, I've been back on the mat, but then I also found something else that I'm highly addicted to. I'll talk about as we go further on.
Well, come on, let's go. What do you got? You into like running marathons?
No.
Riding the bike?
It's my bones. Let's talk about bones. Frankie Bones. Anyway, my bones are like, you get on the mat, you're 58 years old. You can't, whatever. But like a lot of young guys come through the door in their 20s. They got something to prove, And then you gotta either choke them out or you gotta tie them up, in some kind of arm bar or something, Anyway, I got a challenge. Guy's a brown belt. He'll know who he is when I don't want to divulge his name, whatever. I think his dojo's in Florida or whatever. That's all right. We'll set it up. Set it up, and we'll go a couple of rounds. Guy's lighter than me, so I don't know how that's gonna fare for him. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on I was watching a video over the weekend. I can't remember the guy they call him Mighty Mouse or something. He's like 160 pounds, 170 pounds. He was wrestling jiu-jitsu on the mat with this guy that was like twice his size, like a heavyweight champion, and he rolled him up like a pretzel.
But the guy wasn't a jiu-jitsu guy he was rolling with.
Yeah, no, he was.
He was?
Yeah, but he was huge. The guy was like, 6'6", like 200 and change.
Was he a black belt?
I don't remember.
See, the belt that I'm at, I like being at this belt that I'm at, purple. Because here's why, right? I could beat 99.9% of the people that are not a purple belt, from white to blue, whatever, right? And then you could also take all the way up to black belts, right? But if you get tapped out or submitted by a black belt, you're like, oh, okay, he's a black belt. He's supposed to, because you're a lower belt. I tap him out. It's not a good look for him.
Right.
You got tapped out by a younger belt, earlier belt. So I like to stay at this. I've been at this level for 7 years. I like to stay there. So I don't want to get ranked anymore.
Right.
That's why I don't want to put my gi on or like go to the formal whatever, because at this point, it's all politics after a while. It gets to be like, you show up and eventually you get promoted, But to me, you got white with stripes, and then you go to blue with stripes. Then once you hit purple, if a guy hits purple, a legit purple, not somebody who paid their way, you know what I mean?
Well, from what I'm led to believe, jiu-jitsu is one of the things you can't buy.
No, you can't. But there are a lot of rumors and a lot of things out there today on the internet where guys are paying and, a lot of controversy going on right now. That guys, they paid money to get their black belts, and they got their black belts too early. They got a black belt. There's one guy going around. He got his black belt in 3 years.
It's impossible.
Exactly right. And the guy's got a lot of money.
I know a couple black belts. It took my cousin 20 years to get his black belt.
It should take you 15 to 20 years. I've been at purple for 7 years.
Right.
But you know what? What does the belt really mean? The belt don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? It's just, you're just starting to learn, they say, once you're a black belt, I found something better.
Pickleball?
Nah.
No pickleball? Bocce?
I should go to pickleball.
Bocce.
That's like the fastest growing thing.
It's rough on the knees.
Bocce reminds me of jail. You know what I mean? They got the bocce courts.
Right, they had bocce when you were away?
And the federal joints, yeah. They have bocce courts.
All you need is a jug of wine and a coffee pot, and you're good to go.
No, it's a good time killer.
Yeah.
The bocce, You can play with a few guys, Back to Christmas, so we get that out of the way. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas with the crew we got here. I still can't figure out what's on the table. Anyways.
It's a Garfield with a candy cane, a Christmas tree, and looks like another Garfield.
Listen,
we're getting there.
We're still under construction over here.
Yeah.
It'll come together.
New improvements coming soon.
Always improving. Always. So what's new with you?
Just moving through. Had a big milestone birthday over the weekend. Missed your dinner Saturday night.
How'd the 6-0 party go?
Good. It was very nice. Very, few friends and just had some fun. Ate, drank, told stories.
How was the food?
Food's great. It's always, Pasquale does a great job.
Talks like a dish.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I told you, he's from the same town in Italy my grandmother's from, so his food's familiar. He makes good eggplant parmesan and everything else. It's like home,
There's certain things worth going out for, and there's certain things that not worth going out for, that you want to cook at home. Eggplant parm, I think you go out for because it's time consuming.
Well, yeah, especially if you're only making it for 1, 2, 3 people. It's an all-day job. And frying and cleaning and cooking and, making sauce. It's a big project. We used to do it, when I used to have 40 people over for the holidays, I'd be frying and cooking for 2 days.
That's right, yeah.
You've been there. You've been to my house for that.
Yeah.
You have, 40, 45 people coming through.
We had a couple of trolls pop up.
Uh-oh.
Ring the bell a little bit. We had a couple of trolls pop up over a couple of days. We'll find out, if they get, I got to keep warning people, these trolls. They get fresh.
You just ignore them. That's all they're looking for is attention.
Some of them deserve the attention,
Well,
some of them deserve to get exposed.
Then it happens that way.
I meant to ask you, last time we talked about you growing up in Brooklyn and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Were you familiar with Mulberry Street, like my neighborhood, or
did you frequent everybody.
Down there?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all went to St. Gennaro's. We all went, to go eat and go traipsing around the village. It's just a quick trip over the Manhattan Bridge, and you're right down in the heart of it. And it's because I was watching with a friend of mine who don't know, the history of the world, and thing came on. It was, Umberto's. Joey Gallo got shot there. The hole still in the wall, in the door, in the stainless steel door. And I was like, trying to kind of explain to her what took place and stuff. And I know we touched on that a little bit last time.
When I think about it, since Umberto's, right, there's no really big mob hit that ever took place after that, at least in my neighborhood. I mean, there were hits, but not like that.
You got sparks.
No. That I'm saying in my neighborhood.
Right. No, in your neighborhood, no. Because Combine was in Brooklyn, Galante. That was in Brooklyn.
There was no.
No, nothing downtown that I know of, off the top of my head. Since back then, yeah. I can't think of any.
No. I mean, there were hits, but not like that.
Not top-tier hits.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I was saying, back to Sonny Pinto, my father grew up with, his son. They were the same age. They grew up together. There were a lot of things that happened in the neighborhood that nobody really knows about. I'll see these podcasts here and there. This one guy out there, he does a pretty good job. He'll pull reports, he'll pull things and try to piece together. And I'll look at it and I'll go, oh yeah, I remember that, but there's so many more details to it. He doesn't know who or what. He's just reading like public knowledge stuff,
right?
Which a lot of these guys do. There's nothing wrong with that. Going back to my neighborhood, right? I got to think the way some of these guys acted, right? Like I always say, never meet your hero, because you think like a wise guy is like the toughest guy in the world,
right?
Especially when you're a young kid, you look up to them like,
well, yeah, they got nice clothes, nice jewelry, nice shoes, nice cars,
and you're pretty much being raised in a cult to respect and look up to these people like they're invincible, right? There's a building called 21 Spring Street. It's down between Mott and Elizabeth on Spring Street, 21 Spring. What had happened was there was a time where everybody lived in all the buildings around the neighborhood, and this was like the newest building that was being built, right? It's like the newest, like the Jeffersons, moving on up. Right?
The high rise?
It really wasn't it's not that tall of a building. I think maybe it's, I could be wrong, I think maybe it's 5 or 6 floors, People go, no, they'll look at the video. No, it was this many floors. I don't even know what I ate for lunch yesterday. Anyway, 21 Spring Street's brand new building. Everybody moves in there, right? Most of the people from the neighborhood, they all got brand new apartments. And this is going back, now it's an older building. It's 30 years old. I'm going back when it was first built. So everybody lived in that building. Wise guys, regular people from all over the neighborhood. They went into that one building. So in a way, it was nice because everybody knew each other. Everybody's door was open. And another way, it's like nobody minded their business. You got no privacy. So it was a doorman building where they had a guy there 24/7 by the door, and they had a buzzer. So like when you walked in the building, right, you could go to the panel, and you could press the button, and somebody could tell you, who is it? It's Carmine.
Right, the intercom system.
And they intercom, right? I forget those. I didn't hear that in a long time. Intercoms, huh? You press the intercom, hey, yeah, Carmine, yeah, it's Frank, all right. And then you buzz the door from your house. And then I could open the door up. Well, a lot of times if that doesn't happen, the doorman is over there. He sees you. He could buzz you in, right? So I remember when we had this black guy there. His name was Jerry. Sweetheart of a guy. Tough guy, he was a boxer. Me and Tony Zuzio used to talk to him all the time. He had a lot of respect for Tony Zuzio. Now what happens, they hire another guy, another black guy from Harlem. Well, this guy was like the total opposite, right, of what Jerry was. This guy was not a gentleman. He didn't care about nobody, Jerry was like this in shape type of guy. This guy was the opposite.
Right.
He didn't give a about nothing, right? But we were still good with him. He still respected people, but he didn't go for that wise guy. He didn't go for none of that, somebody trying to come there and, try to bully him. Like,
right.
You know who I am?
Strong arm his way in.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what happens now.
Don't you know who my brother's cousin's father's aunt was?
Yeah. Once they say that, here's what happens. I talked about this guy before. Sal Elio. His real name is Sal Dipietro. He's been an informant since 1991, I think. Could be wrong, okay, but he's an informant, bona fide informant. I got the paperwork. I got everything to prove it. He's been an informant since the early 90s, confidential.
He's got a PIN number?
Absolutely. I don't know what arrangement he has with them or if he's still doing it, but he is a bona fide confidential informant, was confirmed, got the paperwork when I was on both sides. Okay, I'm talking about both sides, when I was against the law and then when I was with the law. Anyways, he's a main guy in the Lucchese crime family. He's a soldier on the Prince Street crew. Prince Street was right around the corner from 21 Spring. I have a cousin, Alex Morelli, main guy of the Genovese family, based on Spring Street and Mulberry. talked about him too. He had a club that I used to hang out with. I used to hang out with. I mean, I used to hang out with him. I used to hang out there a lot.
Right.
On Mulberry Office Spring.
Well, yeah, it's the neighborhood. That was your playground.
So Alex lived on, I forgot what floor he lived on. Let's call it the 3rd floor, right? He's up there. Sally Elio is hanging out with Louis Cal. Louis Cal is Louis Russo. Louis Russo is my biological uncle, who I was never really close with. Never considered him my uncle, but technically he was my biological uncle, but I had no relationship with him. The only relationship I had was when I used to hang out in Alex's. I never really liked him. The ways that he had these up ways about him. Just not trustworthy, not honorable. He'll run in a fight.
Just rubs you the wrong way.
More than the wrong way. Like, this is a guy I can't see. I would never hang out. You would. I know you 25 years, right? You would never hang out with him. After a while, you would find him out and go, I guess I did hang out with him or was around him because by default, because he's always in the club and he's my biological grandfather's brother. And by default, it's Louis Cal, right? So Sally Elio and Louis Cal, they're trying to get in the building. And they might have been bagged up a little bit because the two of them like to sniff coke. All of them did.
Yeah.
Right? So Sally Elio, all he would do is drink in Alex's and sniff coke, right? Alex eventually, same thing. Louis Cal was known for that. Always just partying after hours. And, I think, when he passed away, we had a Guidetti funeral parlor. Joe Guidetti was the embalmer. He had said that when he embalmed him, he had like a 1/2 inch of white. There was like a 1/2 inch of just white. Wasn't coke. Must have been all the cut he was sniffing through the years. Because whatever they cut that shit with, who knows what it could have been? It could have been coffee mate, could have been cut, baby powder. Who knows what it could have been?
Yeah, it depends on, if it's a reputable person or not. Or
something
some people don't care, and some people do care.
Something that was in the lining of his lung or his stomach, whatever it was, right? May he rest in peace. He was another informant on the street over there. They're at the door. They're trying to get in. Okay? And they're buzzing. Alex. Trying to get in Alex's apartment. Alex is not answering back. Sally Elio is jamming the door. The guy's looking at him, the guard. Well, finally, the guard didn't buzz him in. Finally, somebody comes out of the elevator, from what I understand. And because that person's coming out, now the door's open, right? Sally walks in and gets nasty with him. Your problem. You know who I am. Trying to throw his button around.
Right.
Guy comes from behind the counter, lays him a beating so bad.
In the lobby.
Right in the lobby. Cleans his clock. Lays him out. The ambulance has to come. That's how bad.
That's a start.
Where's Louis Cal? Ran for the hills.
He was going to get help? He's going to get help?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'll get help.
I'll be right back, yeah. Guy goes and, puts...
He just beat the brakes off.
He put like a 12-piece, an 8-piece, whatever kind of piece. He put every kind of piece the guy had, made him into Reese's Pieces, right?
Low sumo, this ain't a game, Uno. Shout out to my Usos, killing bills like Uma. Balls travel from Pluto, big truck soprano, gabagool and prosciutto, kicking ill like judo, judge and jury like Judy. Hoes think they knew me, flows flow through me, Nike gray hoodie.